Hey there, everyone. This is Daryl Andrews, Coach D, coming to you with some daily motivation and information. Like I always say, motivation without information is simply a good conversation. Sometimes we can be over motivated. And the reason why I say that is we get all hyped up, but then we don't have any strategies. And so, what we want to talk about real quick is something I've been communicating a lot on social media outlets. And it's actually somewhat directly connected to social media itself. And so when you look at a lot of the research that's going on out here nowadays, there has been documented evidence of a significant increase in mental illness in our country. And a lot of that is due to the challenges of COVID-19 and these stay-at-home mandates and kids not allowing to go into school buildings and the depression that comes along with that. Hey, Eva, how you doing, huh? It's good to see you. And hey, Teresa, how you doing? Thank you all for joining us. And so, and hopefully this information will be helpful to you. I know some folks come out here and just throw a lot of stuff out there. I take this time very seriously. I'm honored to be able to do LinkedIn Live and all the lives that we're able to do because I know these are serious times that we live in. So hopefully this information will be helpful. But as I was alluding to, just the research and the proof evidence from what we see, you know what I mean? It's challenging. You're right, Eliza. It is. It's definitely being unleashed. It is. And hey, Joella, thank you from Detroit. Hey, Annie, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you. So let me dive into some of this. And if there's anything thoughts you want to add to this presentation, please do. You're all on different formats. And I'm going to let you know that probably over the next month or so, a lot of my stuff is going to be centered around us bringing control to these thoughts and trying to find peace in the midst of this storm that we are in. Because from what I see, so much around us is negative. It's just insane the amount of negativity that is in this quote unquote great nation called the United States of America. I mean, on social media outlets, on television, reality shows, the media, the presidential, all this stuff, man, this stuff is just, I'm like, my goodness. And in the midst of all of this, we're all pretty much, even though some of the quarantines have been lifted, still are limited in movement because you need a mask for everything. People are nervous. Folks don't want to get together because they're concerns of people contracting, protecting family members. I don't know how people are handling all of this. You know what I mean? And so I don't know, Coach V, what you mean by that, but I'm sure there's some kind of meaning to what that means. I guess you know what that means. I don't want to even repeat it because I don't understand it. But the reality is that right now, okay, it's a challenge. And people are having some serious struggles, sometimes with their own children, and sometimes it's with themselves. And this is another thing too, I want to mention is that a lot of times people are, who are, naturally strong by nature are trying, really have a hard time telling people that they're struggling. You know what I mean? Wake up in the morning and one day just seems like the next, and they just continue to roll into one another. And you're like, what are we doing? I mean, I know I've had some challenges myself. I mean, I'm honored and I'm blessed. My life has been good. And, definitely work is good. Business is doing well. But you get into that thing where, man, life has shifted so abruptly. You know what I'm saying? That it's just, wow. I mean, wow. And so what I want to do today and what I'm going to be doing quite a bit of moving forward is kind of giving some strategies for us to think about, to take control of our thoughts, man, to create the kind of peace we want, you know what I mean? In the midst of all of this stuff. Now I'm a Christian, and y'all know that. I've said it more than once. And a lot of times my Christian friends will say, well, if you don't have this, you don't have to, let's not know Christians that's depressed, okay? People pray and do everything else, and just as depressed as the day is long. So sometimes we need some practical steps and strategies to think about in the midst of all of this. And what I want to do is be practical. Yes, I pray for everyone, but sometimes we got to still take practical steps and have some practical insights into some things we just need to do that ain't all that deep. But if we do them, then we can see some changes in our lives. And so I talked about this on the virtual workforce development motivator a little earlier. Now I'm just going to share this with people in general. Okay. The first thing I want to suggest, if you want to bring these thoughts and stop allowing all of this stuff that's going on out here to cause mental illness and to cause anxiety and to cause stress and to cause anger, one of the first things people need to do is spend less time on negative social media. We spend so much time arguing with people over things that you're never going to get them to convince them otherwise on Facebook. You know what I mean? It's a waste of time. To try to get somebody to change their mind on Facebook ain't happening. I'm just going to tell you all right now. And I say that because I've been guilty of it as well. And so what we do is we have a lot of what I call the mutual admiration society, where we all agree on something and we can, we could come in agreement. That's what we agree on. And so we feel good about that. We encourage it. But you know what? And that's cool because we do need encouragement. But the reality of the matter is we aren't fixing anybody on Facebook. You know what I mean? People are who they are, and it takes people close to them, relationships, family members, co-workers, all that kind of stuff. But those are the ones, but all we doing is getting everybody upset. I've been slowing down mine recently because you go on there, as soon as something negative happened, everybody popping it up on their Facebook page. Now you got 1,000 people saying the same negative thing. And so when you talk about trauma, that ain't no more trauma, a big old melting pot of trauma. Because now you're negative, and then we start communicating each other, and then we feeding this stuff into each other. Keep in mind, prior to Facebook, we didn't do that. We didn't have that kind of interaction with each other. So now it's like all we're doing is feed negative teacher, just negative. And so listen, getting it, that's right, Teresa, getting ourselves upset. And listen, I'm not sitting there as the Apostle Paul said in the Bible. I'm not going to say I'm the one that have attained. I've definitely have done my fair share as well. But what I'm starting to notice is the psychological impact this is having on people. It's tearing up relationships, destroying families. People that you once had great relationships with don't have them no more. And you start realizing, man, this is getting crazy. You know what I mean? It's getting crazy. Now, don't get me wrong. Some people, relationship-wise, maybe it was time for it to end because they just, too hardcore on whatever it is. If it's racial discrimination, whatever, then that's a whole nother story. But I'm talking about some things are just worthy of conversation. Let's talk about this and see where we got this differing thing going on. And let's see if we can work through some of these challenges. But people have just defaulted to just being angry. And then they communicate that all on social. So we need to limit it. You know what I mean? We know we're right in some ways. Everybody's right in the way that they think. But the reality of the matter is, oh my goodness, hold on just 1 second, please. 1 second. Just 1 second, please. Way too fast. Can you give me 5 minutes? This is right there, and then on the side. And on the side. Give me just 5 minutes. I'll be right back. Okay, and then you can look at the back. Okay, I know that was strange, but I have somebody that came to my house for something. I forgot he was coming, so I just had to let him know I'll get with him in a few minutes because I got to finish this. But Joella, you're right. Negativity breeds negativity, and that's just the way it is. So one of the first things, we got to limit social media. We got to start saying without a doubt that no doubt we have got to understand that we keep flooding our mind with this stuff. It's going to have a negative impact on us mentally. Our kids are feeling it because of the pressures of COVID. We need to be a little bit more focused on positivity. One way of doing that is finding outlets. Take a break and find some outlets in which we could, to be able to go to. It could be a place of rest. It could be reading a book. It could be a Netflix binge. It could be a variety of different things. But the reality is we need an outlet. We need a place to go to get away from all this stuff. You know what I mean? I always say find maybe a happy place. Some people it's the ocean. All right. Some people it's other things. But the reality of the matter is we need to find something that's going to counter all of this negativity. All right. Another thing too is this, and this is be aware of negative people. Some people are just born almost like it seems to be negative. Like, it's like all they want to do is just argue and fight about everything. And so that's not good for our mental well-being. It's really not. And so we need to, people like that, we need to limit our interactions with them, because people like that they're going to stress you out, and they're going to cause you to see things from a perspective that you don't want to see it from. We need to have some friends around that are optimistic, that are uplifting. You know what I mean? And that's what I try to be to my friends. Well, I'm naturally wired that way because of the work I do and the life I live. But then I have friends like that, because you got to counter all that negativity with something positive or someone positive. And then another thing too is think about these motivational resources that are free. They're free. Don't have to pay a dime for them, that they're free. And so you can go online and you can Google people like Zig Ziglar and old motivational speakers, Les Brown. They all got stuff out there. And just listening to things that's going to lift you up. You see what I'm saying? Because the reality of the matter is simply this. Our minds are just too important for us to simply just become consumed with pessimism. And that's why I think these doctors and these medical offices are seeing such an increase in mental illness. You see what I'm saying? I've always loved Zig too. He was one of my early stage mentors. Loved that dude to life, man. I'm serious. He was phenomenal. And so listen, you have to realize, let me say this, and I do have to run because I have something I forgot I had to take care of. But here's a quote I want you to write down. Think about this quote. All right. I'm going to say it and I got to get ready to go. But I can't control what a person is going to say or do, but I can control my response to it. Don't ever forget that quote. I can't control what a person is going to say or do, but I can control my response to it. All right. And so this is like what Joel is saying right on top. I wish I had more time, y'all, but I forgot I had something I had to take care of here. But pessimistic people will bring us down and cause us to take on that same spirit. It jumps on us. Let me say this. I'm going to get in trouble before I go, but I got to say it. The leadership of our country in any capacity, not just the president, but across the board, what a country takes on the spirit of its leadership. Don't ever forget that. And if it's all about pessimism, it's easy to see where we are today. Now, some of you are going to get upset because you're thinking about, oh, he's just talking about Trump, whatever. I'm talking about all of it. The political posturing, you know what I mean? All these different things. The reality of the matter is, the matter is that there's a way for us to communicate. There's a way for us to communicate that's decent, that's civil and respectful, and still get our point across. When we're concerned about the well-being of the people of our nation, we're going to do whatever it takes to give them an image of character, an image of respect and dignity. And if I'm looking at, because I work with youth a lot, and it's so hard to tell young people today about good character. They look at you and laugh like, are you kidding me? They're laughing because they're like, I don't see it anywhere. You want me to be something I don't see? I'm telling you, that's why our kids are going through all this stuff. Their minds are being so impacted by all this pessimism that we adults are communicating to them. So I'm saying to you, I'm going to get ready to jump off of this. Be in control of your thoughts. I don't know if any of you follow scriptures, but I'm a believer and I do. Apostle Paul says it like this: bring those thoughts into captivity. Anything that exalts itself against the knowledge of God. These thoughts are always trying to come on and consume us, but the thoughts are a byproduct of what we allow. So what I've been doing is backing off. I'm just like, man, I ain't got time to argue with people about this stuff. I don't have time to go into debates about this. Yeah, somebody said something stupid because they want to say something stupid. I don't have time for it. I'm about optimism, positivity. I don't have time to even give them the moment. I don't have the bandwidth to give them the moment of my time to think about this stuff. I need to think about my future, my children, the people I serve, my customers we have all over the country. That's where I'm focusing my energy. You see, captivity is our choice, Teresa. And with that, you just close this out perfectly. So I'm Daryl Andrews, Coach D. This is my website. If you want more information on who I am, I'm not here to market anything. I'm just here to tell you the reality of the matter is, you know what I mean? what I love this, what Joella said, and this is Gandhi, be the change you wish the world to see. We're under stress right now. We're under anxiety, and it's bad. But I believe with all my heart that it's the good people, us, that can turn this thing back around. And I'm looking forward to seeing that happen in my lifetime. Y'all take care. I'll be back tomorrow doing the same thing I always do every day. Take care.